Welcome back to the Amanda Seales Show, y'all. It's Amanda Seales here, and it's time for the State of the States. Every week, I keep you up to date on the shadiest bills or positive policies being passed by state legislators. Today, we're focusing on Tejas, Texas, and Louisiana. All right. Okay, so Louisiana recently passed a law mandating 10 Commandments posters in all public school classrooms.
Wow.
Republicans argue that the 10 Commandments are a historical document.
Okay.
They're not.
Yeah.
Which gives them a loophole around church and state separation.
Wow.
Also want to remind you that the 10 Commandments are also in the Torah. So that's why you don't have Jewish pushback on this.
Okay.
Right? So the Zionists are aligned on this. Evangelical Zionists and Jewish Zionists are both aligned on this.
Okay.
Donald Trump endorsed the display of the 10 Commandments in public schools. Mind you, this is a man who don't know.
Right.
If you asked him who the disciples were, he would say, is it a gang?
Yeah.
The ACLU of Louisiana, the Freedom from Religion Foundation, and the Americans United for Separation of Church and State are all suing Louisiana. Trump recently announced that if elected, he would shut down the Federal Department of Education.
Oh, wow.
And move everything back to the states, which is a replica of what went on at the turn of the century in the response to Plessy versus Ferguson, which is what put segregation back.
Okay.
Which is what put segregation back into schools.
Wow.
So basically, when the Emancipation Proclamation and the 13th Amendment were ratified, it meant that Black people now had citizenship and should be able to, exist in equality with the people of America. And Congress, many members of Congress were like, well, then that means that we need to put language in here that protects Black people. And Congress was like, nah, chill. You can't do that. You can't do that. You can't do that. So sorry, the Supreme Court said that you can't do that. So the Supreme Court said it's up to the states. Now, when Plessy versus Ferguson went down, Plessy versus Ferguson was when Plessy, this very light-skinned man, tried to ride a train.
Okay.
And he tried to ride a train, and they said, you can't sit in that car. And so he sued to say, well, if we have 13th Amendment, 14th Amendment, and 15th Amendment rights, then we should be able to ride wherever we want in the car. And the Supreme Court ruled that it is up to the states to determine. It is a private affair. And so that is how we got separate but equal.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So that's how we got the concept of separate but equal. And so the states individually determined whether they wanted to have segregation and how it would be, represented in their legislation. And that's when we see these vouchers for schools.
Okay. That's that private school. Yep. Yeah.
So that's basically legal segregation right now.
Wow.
But when he's saying that he would shut down the Department of Education and move everything back to the states, what he's saying is that the states will then legally be able to determine if they want to reinstate segregation.
Wow.
So when people act like this doesn't matter, when people act like what's going on in Congress doesn't matter, what they don't understand is that with the stroke of a pen, all of this can be changed. And it is not going to just depend on Donald Trump. And I cannot stress that enough. He is not the only person who wants this. He is not the only person who has the power to make this happen, by the way. So I just think it's really important that people acknowledge that all it took was a stroke of a pen to have us drinking from a different water fountain.
Right.
And it can happen again.
Back. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So I would ask why should Black people care, but I feel like I've already covered it.
Exactly. You got my attention.